Chancellor. Oh, hi, sir. Yeah, you've called right on time. We're about to start soon. What was that, sir? Yes, sir, we got the files. They're right in front of me. Yes, sir, it's all there. Of course, sir, you don't need to worry one bit. The inquiry will be informal and we will be as soft as you need us to be. Yes, sir, of course. We're academics after all. Okay, sir. Goodbye. Come, Kulkarni.
Hello.
Have a seat. I've been meaning to talk to you for quite some time now. I hope you don't mind I invited Shir Sagar and PY or MLC to join us. Vilankar,
Yeah.
coffee for everyone.
Sure. Kulkarni, you're known in the university for your punctuality, so I was a bit confused when you were late today. I mean, this is not like the Kulkarni that I know. He's not even in the council like me.
PY, my friend, I must say that your sense of humor, even after the elections, remains the same.
So, Kulkarni, what have you been doing lately?
John Baker, could we just drop this informal act? I mean, it's quite unnecessary. I know I've been called here for an inquiry. You ask me questions, and I'll give you the answers.
It's okay, Kulkarni. There's no need to get agitated. It's not such a simple business. Here, coffee.
Quite right. I mean, so let's not make it more complicated than it is.
Kulkarni, you do sound angry.
PY, anybody who sits across the floor from you is angry, right?
Kulkarni, you are aware that certain dangerous ideas have been gaining ground on campus?
That's it. Much better way to start. Then you won't feel awkward in asking your questions. And I won't hesitate in answering too.
Sir, shall I get few official matters out of the way first?
Why not? Better check them in your file. Full name Sridhar Vishwanath Kulkarni, date of birth 18 September 1980, place of birth Jagatwadi, district Solapur, state Maharashtra. I'm now the professor and head of the department. John Baker and I were in England together. He became a wrangler. I read my MSc in London University and returned. Does that cover everything, Vilankar?
I don't have to be told that our sir was in London with you.
Of course not. There must be a different file for you. Sir,
Kulkarni, your little joke was unwarranted. Why do you refuse to realize that we gathered here to help you? So as I was saying, certain dangerous ideas have been gaining ground on campus.
such as?
May I finish what I was saying? There was a time when this university was known for its peaceful campus. But all that has changed in the recent years. Now, I'm not a man who minces words. This committee believes that this change is linked with you. Which is why we thought we could sit together and have a little chat, try to sort this out internally. PY agreed.
Etc. PY, is it possible that you can still hear faint echoes of those times you're using in the slogans now?
What do you mean by that?
PY was a progressive thinker once. We've had many chats together. Remember PY? Those long sessions after the country got independence. We also decided to meet Shankarao, didn't we?
You have to use full names.
Shankarao More. He was one of the founders of Peasants and Workers. Sagar, don't you know who Shankarao is?
I thought you were talking about Shankarao Dev. Of course I know Shankarao More is. I
Shankar-
was just confused because you didn't use full names.
Shankarao Deo, the Gandhi, and Shankarao More, the Marxist. Such a confusion over names. Anyways, PY decided that he disagreed with my proposal, and then at the right time, he quit the job. His position today is the result of that sacrifice.
Jambekar, is this inquiry against me or against Kulkarni? This discussion of my past is quite uncalled for. And it is not your job to do that.
Calm down, PY. I apologize. So, briefly then, Kulkarni. Your role at the university is that of a chemistry professor, but it has come to our attention that you've been involved in a lot of other activities as well. Although it's beyond me how someone doing science can find the time to do that. I mean, I'd understand if you were teaching an art subject.
Oh dear. So you do suffer from the usual misapprehension that it's the art student who creates problems?
What are you implying then?
Rebellion doesn't depend on having time or not. It has to be
Anyway, let's get back down to business. I won't ask you questions about your education, etc. But your father was a well-known man. I understand he was a member of the Bombay Legislative Council.
Yes, from 1946 to 1954.
Vishwanath Hari Kulkarni, the author of the book.
That was my father, who said his evening prayers and spun the chakra devotedly every day. He was a strong believer and a patriot.
You don't sound particularly respectful.
How is respect relevant to us here? I was merely giving the information Shri Sagar asked for. My father was 100% honest in his religious and nationalist faith.
How did you relate to him?
As a son to a father.
Kulkarni, that's not a very useful answer.
Don't be dense, Kulkarni. Is it or isn't it true that you had sharp differences with him?
Tell me, is Shri Sagar the author of The Critical Reason?
Sir, here's one piece of evidence of great importance. During the 1952 elections, an article was published attacking him under the pseudonym Hansak Shira Vivek. Now the question specifically remains, was that article written by Kulkarni?
It was a bad article.
Your critical reason is not particularly sharp.
I repeat, did you write that article?
No,
Who wrote it then?
I don't know.
According to our information, sir, 5 or 6 people used to write that article. And Kulkarni was one of them.
Is that true, Kulkarni?
Yes, it is.
And who were the others?
Well, I won't tell you.
Meaning?
Meaning quite clearly that you may ask anything about myself, but not about others.
Do you think we can't find out the other names without you?
Not at all. Belankar is there to help you. He's just waiting for you guys to ask him.
So you are saying categorically that you had nothing whatsoever to do with that article?
Yes.
And are you aware that soon after that article was published, your father's election meeting was disrupted?
Yes, but if you're trying to say that there's a connection between the article and what happened, I must say you're wrong.
Why would that be, Professor? Edify us.
Because that article didn't have such a strong effect. I mean, this country cannot be roused with written or spoken words.
You speak with such an authority about the article, yet you claim that you did not write it.
No. PY, I'm not a blind champion of violence.
Were you in sympathy with the violence that was caused by the disruption of the meeting?
Yes. No. No, I wasn't.
Is it true that your relationship with your father had soured in the last 2 or 3 years of his life?
Yes, but I always respected him.
Is it true that you campaigned against him?
Yes.
And yet you say that you had nothing to do with the disruption of his meeting?
That's right.
What was your relationship with him like? I believe you were in jail when he died.
I had differences of opinion with my father. He saw the new politics different from the old. I never belonged there. In the chaos that surrounded us, our political fight became painful for him. Fate didn't give me a chance. I wasn't even allowed to shed a few tears for him. In the eyes of the world, I did not have the right to even do that.
सर्वधर्मं प्रतिजया मम्मेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वं सर्वप्रभयो मोक्षसमी मासुचा। भगवान करे उनकी आत्मा को शांति मिले। अब ये पूजा संपन्न हुई।
What time is your train, Sridhar?
There's still time, it goes at 5.
It's good that you came, Sridhar.
Well, of course. Iron said I wasn't coming, Kaka.
You should make some time for us. Visit us now and then. Write to us.
Since you've become a performing politician, you've had no time for anything else.
Dada was a performing politician too, Kaka.
So, this is Vishuddata's legacy, is it? Well, well.
It's strange to hear people like you who are out to pull down everything talk of legacies.
Strange to you, not to me, Kaka.
So, where was his sense of gratitude in the last election, when the son was opposing his father?
How? Their ideology doesn't acknowledge ancestors.
Well, at least I acknowledge his father's.
Kaka, I'm not sure even if you know what you're talking about. And what should I be guilty of?
This is the most unusual way of talking to an uncle. What does this family mean to you? Have you forgotten that Vishubha was our elder brother? I have seen the agonies he suffered from his only son's political bankruptcy.
Madhu Kaka, I doubt if you'd ever begin to understand what politics is all about. And even on the difference of opinion between me and Dada. Why to talk about it today? I mean, especially on his death anniversary.
Why make them speeches then?
I do not wish to discuss about this on
Well, I
death.
wish to. I decided to talk about it after the rituals were over, but then I thought if I spoke about it before, you'll make a hoo-ha again and we'll have to do the rituals ourselves.
Let it be, Kaka. I promise I'll never come again. But just don't get at me today of all days.
Our brilliant nephew has suddenly developed a tender heart, Sadhu. It is filled with profound gratitude for the father who sent him abroad to read, learn, and grow. But such debts aren't repaid with eyes fixed somewhere else.
You weren't here, Bao. Dada had any amount of trouble getting nominated for the election. And this wise spark here told him that the party no longer needed him, that he didn't understand their politics anymore.
Sadhu Kaka, you may not even know it, but Dada agreed to what I said. Only he kept on repeating that he spent his entire life in the movement. So he had to go back to Bombay and stand before Abba Sahib like a poor relation. Several factors need to be worked out before you can get a nomination for the elections. But none of them worked for him. I said to him, Dada, don't you realize what's happening? Just don't let the sentiment sway you. The new politics has its own logic, and you just don't fit into them. Can't you see? He said, I do. I see it very well. Suddenly remember a saying of Lao Tse. When you find the way, that becomes easier. I found the way, he said. I'm prepared for that. And he went on saying many more things. Some meaningless, some illogical. But he spoke a
And
great deal.
yet, you stood against him in the opposite camp. Or tell me, did you have Dada's blessings for that as well?
No! He was a fighter after all. Whether right or wrong, once he was in the fray, he made no compromises, Kaka.
But you should understand, you were the cause of it all.
The cause of his final despair.
What rubbish! He was never one to despair. Uncle, he was a bigger man than you think.
Oh dear, no. It doesn't suit a leftish like yourself to be emotional.
Shut up!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Just listen to him, Bao. Just listen to our nephew's language.
There's more to these people than language. Their violence isn't merely verbal. Remember what happened at Talwade?
Dada, don't blame me for that as well. I wasn't even the district at that time. We were campaigning for Mantalu.
You weren't there? You think we were born yesterday? You plotted it all and now you claim to have nothing to do with it.
Kaka, you're talking off the top of your head. How can I make you understand? I don't think you're in a fit state of mind to listen, Kaka.
Oh, we are. We'd like to hear it all if there's anything worthwhile to tell us. The politics of young boys. You being the one-eyed king amongst the blind. I'll eat while my brothers die. You're shrewd enough to plan something like that. So tell me what happened in the Talwari meeting, Sadhu.
I'll tell you. It was supposed to be evening when the meeting happened, but it was 10 o'clock by the time we got to Talwade. We met at Rangrao's house, so he held forth first. He spoke for a few minutes, and you know how he is. Then Baba Sahib, our Taluk chairman, he spoke. Then Dada spoke. His speech was like a kirtan. It won over the audience instantly. But right then, 30 or 40 people came on bicycles. They made a ruckus. They raised slogans. Down with Kulkarni, down with Kulkarni. A vote for Kulkarni is a vote against the peasantry. The meeting was completely disrupted. Dada came out, tried to calm them down. They surrounded him, started pelting stones. It was horrible. Dada said, You can speak after me. We will speak from the same platform. But they were in no mood to listen. Sridhar's friend, Tarun, he was there. Dada asked him, don't vote for me, but at least let me speak. And his friend answered, no, we won't. Dada came back to the dais and stopped the meeting. That was the first and last time in Dada's political career that his speech went unheard. And the people responsible for it were him and his ruffian friends.
Goodbye. Or better still, get out. I've heard of all your wonderful doings. Wait, what is that parcel?
The books, Kaka.
You can't take those books.
Why not?
Please explain to this infant Sadhu. You can't just walk away with Dada's books. Dada took a lot of care of them. You have no right to touch them.
Kaka, I beg of you. I've had the most precious time reading Meghdut with Dada. Kaka, let me take this one memory with you. His reading of scriptures, that rich and resident poem, Dada's sweet voice. Those are the memories I want to cherish now. Kaka, please don't do this. I see Dada before my eyes. Dada who taught me Tukaram song. Kaka, don't take this treasure away from me. No, 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 no! Dada! 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 Dada!
I have a rough idea of the information that you all are looking for. I've written out a statement accordingly. I'll put it in front of you. Or better still, read it out. Or Piva and Shivsagar will not find the time to read it.
We'll see the statement later. But first, answer our questions.
Were you a member of Progressive Writers Association, Kulkarni?
Piva, I agreed to this inquiry because I wanted to cooperate with you people. For years, attempts have been made to break down this association. You all are part of the attempt. Your intention to control me is quite evident. But I am not going to let you all use me to pull down this association.
The question, Kulkarni, is quite simple. Just answer in a yes or a no.
All the information that you need is written in the statement. Such questions do not end with yes and no.
So you're not going to answer my question.
No, I am going to answer it.
So what are you waiting for? Let's have it.
Jambhekar, listen. Such questions do not end with mere yeses and nos. First, I need to know why I'm being asked such a question in a free and democratic country like ours. I need to know why this question is being asked.
We'll discuss that later. But first tell me whether you are or you're not a member of Progressive Writers Association. I don't see the point of delivering speeches and planning strategies.
Delivering speeches? I am not delivering speeches. The only thing that I'm saying is that today y'all expect me to answer this question. Another time, y'all will expect me to answer a question saying whether I believe in this godman or that guru.
What a strange way to interpret PY's question. You know we are not going to ask that question to anyone anytime. Kulkarni, we aren't that foolish. But why don't you answer PY's question?
But Jambhekar,
You are a resident of Free India.
that is why PY's question
It's not difficult to answer.
I'm not saying it is difficult to answer. My only concern is that I am being asked such a question in free and democratic India and that three eminent members of the university community like you are asking me this.
So, you don't wish to answer my question? Velankar, please make a note of my comment.
Velankar, please also make a note of what I have been saying.
Shirsagar, your question please.
Is it true that you started something called the Revolutionary Teachers Organization in university?
I don't know of such an organization.
Don't split hair, Kulkarni. Velankar, read out the 4 lines that I marked.
This organization is quite informal. It's described as a Marxist-Leninist study group. It has established small cells in several university-affiliated colleges. One of the leaders of this group is Kulkarni. Professor
Informal
Kulkarni.
organization is a meaningless phrase.
Whether a phrase is meaningless or not is not an important issue.
Shiv Sagar, you have just stated that a phrase written in the note by our Vice Chancellor is unimportant. What do you have to say about that?
Don't change the subject. Just answer the question. You're not going to lose anything by it. You might just gain something.
What is the question?
Are you connected with the organization?
Which organization? To my knowledge, this organization that you speak of does not exist.
What are the scams that you organize? Where do they belong? Who are the participants? Is it the number increasing day by day?
Easy. You're going at me like a Sten gun. Now, had you asked me about these camps earlier, I have told you. But you started off with some organization.
According to the information given to us, these scams are here as part of the organization.
My dear Shiv Sagar, what I am saying is all method and no madness. There is no harm in such organizations existing. Only I have nothing to do with it.
Don't put out that Hamlet's act, Kulkarni.
So you have nothing to do with this organization?
No, that's not what I said. All I'm saying is that I have an interest in this organization. All the invitations that I have got, I have accepted them. All I'm saying is I'm not an office bearer or a founder of such an organization.
You accept these invitations. Sometimes you advise them. Yet you say you have nothing to do with this organization? What a strange thing.
Who are these people that invited the organization?
To state what Jamaica said, we're here to collect information about me, not about others.
I think we should talk to Kulkarni about his knowledge about Marxism and Leninism.
Go ahead, Shiv Sagar.
So, when did you study this subject? How did you come to know about it?
I will tell you, gladly. When I was in England, the students had something known as a study circle. They also had something known as a left book club, which had a large membership. Vilankar, here's the spelling. L-E-F-T book club.
Do you recollect having a study of the Communist Manifesto in the party?
Vilankar, C-O-M-M-U-N-I-S-T M-A-N-I-F-E-S-T-O.
Thanks. I was just about to ask you that.
Yes, Kulkarni?
I don't recollect.
How the State and the Revolution was one of the books you studied?
Could have been. I don't remember which books I read during the course or after that. But P.Y., you read a few of these books too?
Yes, but we got out of all that very soon.
That is quite evident. Jamaica, you and I once had a chat in London about the Left Book Club. You seemed pretty interested back then, remember?
I've never been within a mile of the Left Book Club. What are you even talking about? Stop cross-examining me.
Were you ever, or are you still the member of the party?
No.
Never?
What does no mean, Shiv Sagar?
Were you ever the member at large of the party?
What is member at large?
I'll tell you. When a man in an important position has any connections to do with a party, it is more useful for the party when he is not considered a member. So, as much as he is a member as the other people, his name does not come on the record.
My question concerned what kind of membership do you hold at the party?
I
am not
a member of the party.
So you have nothing to do with the party at all.
That is quite difficult to avoid now in this age of loudspeakers.
Could you explain that, please?
All I am saying is politics is like an all-consuming monster. Its shadow falls on you in one way or another.
You have still not answered my question, Kulkarni.
So, Srimati Saraswati Vaidya, once Srimati Kulkarni, has also been a part of the committee.
Oh, Kulkarni has something to say to this.
Shiv Sagar, you want me to make my personal life public? Jamaica, please note that a member of the university is being called upon to make his personal life public. Is it not enough of me already stating that I have been part of a certain political organization? No, it isn't. Because this system that you, Jamaica, are a part of is not satisfied. I have been a consistent believer of a certain political organization. I have known the heavy price one has to pay. My marital life with Saraswati has been difficult to avoid. It has become public knowledge. We got accustomed to it a long time ago.
accepted it then. Now, it hurts more. It is more painful now. This nakedness that I feel, it is a terrible feeling. The emptiness of the dirty linen of my past hanging out in public. Shirsagar, I have to make my private life public because of your insistent demand.
Oh, so you're back. Long meeting today, wasn't it? Wait, I'll get you some coffee. Or would you prefer your favorite piping hot water? Bhagirath had it ready for you, but you were so late. I told him to go. Finally, nobody waits the way a husband waits, Saraswati. Here we are. Your hot water. I'll stick to my coffee. Have you eaten?
Yes.
Where?
The usual. One eats when one has to eat. Doesn't bother where and what.
What happened in the party?
What happened? The usual. And a few new things.
Such as?
You act so calm. One would think you didn't know what I was talking about. Don't you?
I could hazard, I guess.
Stop hazarding guesses. Don't you have to say something to me?
I have nothing to say, nothing worthwhile, really. I've been looking for a long time to say something worthwhile. Haven't found it yet. Perhaps it's a good sign of the maturity of our relationship. Truly, it's been a long, long time since we have talked to each other. I didn't know that words would seem so useless so soon.
Useless. Maybe. They certainly seem to be in a short supply around here. Elsewhere they pour like the first rains. Is it true what I heard?
More or less.
What does that mean?
Everything you hear is true. I admire you, the way you see the world. It is so clear and ordered. I don't see it that way. I only see confusion. That means lack of
You
discipline.
can give your speeches later. First tell me if it's true. I know it's true. What do you think you're trying to do?
What?
Don't give me that innocent injured act, Sridhar. You know what I'm talking about.
It's not very important.
Not very important.
To my mind, at least.
Stop behaving like a child. Now this meeting, you didn't tell me about it, but I get to know these things.
That's the party all about. They have 1,000 eyes and 1,000 ears.
The first meeting after Conrad Stalin's death. Don't you think you should have discussed it? Plan what to say?
Why?
How can you ask me that?
There's no one here else I could ask, is there?
Talk straight, please. Tell me what happened at the meeting.
Read all about it in your favorite newspaper tomorrow. And when you do, don't tell anybody how it ends.
If that's supposed to be funny, then I'm having problems with staffing.
Oh, I thought it is okay to joke around. But some people get angry at jokes. That's also natural.
Must I go back to the fundamentals with you? You're connected to a certain party, which means you have certain responsibilities.
The party, discipline and such like.
Yes! People connected to the party cannot afford to be so self-absorbed, but to follow certain discipline, which you seem to break too often. Stalin is not such a simple issue. When you talk irresponsibly about it, you break the discipline of the whole movement.
So?
We talk about organizing marches, changing society, we strike. And without discipline, they're quite useless. We must behave like soldiers.
Yes, yes, behave like soldiers and obey to the commander's orders.
What's wrong with that? When you talk about revolution, you cannot afford to be responsible. You need to be angry, and the anger must be disciplined.
And in what way have I broken this code of discipline?
Why didn't you get today's speech clear? Why didn't you tell me about it?
If I tell you, you wouldn't have let me go.
Are you surprised?
No, that's why I didn't tell you and went.
You're impossible. What difference would have made if Professor Kulkarni's judgment about Stalin's work wouldn't have been made public today?
None. But it's being made public today has made no difference either.
Look, listen to me. What's the point of telling you what you already know? We are a political party. Belonging to a party is not belonging to a club. You can't say what you want whenever you want. And when you do it intentionally...
What you're saying is, I should have kept my mouth shut. What kind of discipline is that? And who decides that? Are you planning to raise armies?
Yes.
No. You did it in Telangana once. You even gave those 3-4 million people a taste of freedom before the orders came to sheath your swords. The swords were sheathed. When you wound up the armed revolt, you did it with a lot of fanfare, didn't you?
You've always been critical of what happened. Did you speak of it then?
No, who we are to say of such things. But what was wrong, what I said about Stalin? What's the point in denying that blood was shed during his regime? The point is that in 20 years, even if it was by bloodshed, he raised a race of tigers in a country where people had turned into timid snails. Why can't that be stated boldly? It's no work of pious celibates. If you raise tigers, they will want to taste blood. I said that. And I'll say it again. You know what Mao said, don't you? A revolution is not a dinner party.
Etc., etc. That's just a more respectable way of saying that Stalin perpetrated atrocities.
What's the use of talking to you people? Even for Mao, you people think that his politics bears no trace of Marxism. If a man who raises a communist regime, works for 20 years, fights for 20 years, awakens a 60 crore million people, is not a Marxist, then your Marxism can go to blazes. And you of course think that nobody understands Marxism better than Prayag.
There's no need to bring Prayag into this.
Ah, great. So the anger wasn't for my speech after all. I just have to mention Prayag and Stalin takes a back seat.
What do you mean?
You don't understand. Okay. I'll explain. There was this girl. She had coal black eyes. Sometimes these coal black eyes would lit up and glow. Once he caught their fire, 2 more eyes met. The embers grew even more. But now those eyes are tired. They don't want embers. They don't even want the sun. Now there are 4 eyes which avoid each other. The 2 coal black eyes, they only see a ladder. A ladder which rises higher and higher. Saraswati, my politics is of inconvenience to you now. It's a hindrance and a nuisance to your rise in the party. You are ambitious. If I see your ambitions as being smaller than they used to be, then the problem is with my eyes. And that's the real problem.
Problem?
Does the word jar?
Yes, because it's true. You've once again clearly stated reality in all its harshness.
I just as clearly confessed to seeing it.
And I yet love you.
Yet. I like that word. I talk of Stalin and yet you love me. I talk of Prayag and yet you love me. Funny word indeed, isn't it?
Can't you keep a hold on yourself for me?
Saraswati, I've been doing that for years. I've been keeping a hold on myself for your sake, for the party's sake, even for Prayag's sake. But tell me, honestly, do you really want me to keep a check on myself? I mean, think about it. If I continue in this fashion, it would give you an excellent excuse. Then you wouldn't have to hold yourself with Prayag. It would make you feel moral easier. Has nothing to do with Marxism or the party. After all, we are a middle class petty bourgeois.
Sridhar!
I wish I could free myself. You're free. Both you and Prayag are free. What need of this pretense?
Pretense? Really?
Here. More pretense. Valvalkar must have told you about our meeting. The fool still thinks he can get things awkward with you by talking about me. He hasn't forgiven you, Saraswati. He was the jilted one before me. Anyway, what's the point of talking about all this? You are free in this world, but I am free of this world. There can never be a equal fight between the two. The one who is free of this world wins. It has been so and will continue to be so.
But Sridhar...
Hear me out. I won't retract my speech. I will publish it as an article. There will be no compromises. Now, there won't be compromises with anything.
You asked me a question, and I narrated this incident that came to mind. You probably have that article in your records. It was this article that ended my life at the party.
You can't be possibly interested in that. You're a white-collar man. The question in your mind is infinitely more spicy.
I will tell you all. We are not separated them. I didn't even know of her and Prayag.
That's not quite true. I have known of their relationship but I don't know how long.
Today, memories are running away from me. She left me to live with Prayag. She became the member of the state committee and I the head of the department. She has won in her way.
Her idea of success was always very narrow. She found her success, and I became the victim of this monstrous inquiry.
It was not the first time it happened though. I could see the failure ahead, and yet I continued with endurance. It became possible. Not just mere decisions, even mere conversations. It stopped.
Or rather, she stopped it. Such are the defeats faced by liberals. She stopped what I thought I should stop. She stopped what I should have stopped. Her celebration of my defeat continues even today.
I analyze my own defeat intellectually. Her victory, my defeat. These categories don't really matter. Rather, these are categories you will not understand.
Anyways, it's all over now. It should have ended this way. I should have known. You would have heard the poem, don't you? Which says, the blows fell so fast and furious that the color of blood itself changed.
The Peoples of Age came out with an article in those days. It talked of last seeing me in my true colors, but my colors were changing.
How could they have seen my true colors? Even I haven't been able to see my true colors. And I still think she hasn't seen them.
But why am I exhibiting these faded flowers? You can't possibly have any interest in them. So I'll finish the story here.
Well, Uncle,
take this down.
the information I've given here is
to the best of my knowledge and belief.
True.